So I want to explain to you what I mean when I talk about manifesting, what that is to me, and address a question I get a lot, which is, can you explain negative situations in people's lives, how kids can end up with cancer, natural disasters, mass shootings, all of these things that manifesting in the traditional sense or the law of attraction doesn't really address. And so I thought I would give you my take on that and just share a little bit about what I think manifesting is. So for me, manifesting is a combination of two things. It's a combination of focus and intentional thought on something and attuning your vibrational frequency to that thing, which then in turn attracts situations, people, circumstances, opportunities of that same vibration to you. And then it's a component, so that's kind of like the woo component, if you will. And then there's also this really real component of action, a physical action that you get to take in the world, right? It's a meet me halfway kind of situation. I do the mental work and that the universe can co-create and meet me. And then I also do the physical work, the real like 3D work of taking the actions and putting the steps in place to create it in the physical realm. So for me, those are the two pieces. You have to have focused intention and be super clear on what it is you're trying to attract and stay in that frequency. And then you also need to take the actions to make things happen. So here's where I want to address the big sort of like elephant in the room. Okay, well, do people attract getting stuck in hurricanes, right? Do people attract, can kids attract getting sick? And it's like, okay, one thing I want everyone to realize, you can't manifest things that are out of your control, right? Because we've got that element of action, which means, let's take this baby off for a second. It means that you are taking action to manifest. If it's not in your control, you can't manifest it. You can't manifest winning the lottery. That's not within your control. You can manifest a windfall of cash. You don't know how necessarily that's going to happen. You can manifest it, but it's not within your control, right? You can attract the vibration of abundance. You can attract the vibration of financial prosperity. You can attract the vibrational frequency and live in that. But the how, you have to, when you're manifesting, you really need to just focus on the what and the why and let go of the how, because the how often you don't know until you get there, until you start taking the steps, and things will surprise you and you listen to little nudges from the universe and you figure out like, okay, this is a path I didn't know I would be going down, but here I am, let me follow this. And you stay open to opportunities and you surrender to the plans that the universe is co-creating with you, right? This is the universe's portion. Maybe it is a lottery, but that's the universe's part. Your part is to work on your skills and apply for different jobs. Your part is to create that business, write that book, to find a rich partner. That's an option too. You know, like you can do things within the physical 3D realm that support your manifestation. The rest is up to the universe. So those things like lottery wins, inheritances, like you're not controlling those. You're doing half the work by getting on the vibrational frequency. You're also doing the work in the physical realm of what you can control, but the actual events themselves need sometimes to be co-created in a way that you don't have control over. So when you think about it that way, you are not manifesting the mass destruction event. Like it's not like if you go to, Hawaii, or if you happen to live in Hawaii and there's a hurricane, you didn't manifest that hurricane. It's not like everybody there was manifesting a hurricane and so it came, right? Like there are things that are out of our control that still happen in our life that we didn't just manifest. I have a view on sicknesses and diseases as well, and explaining those. I do think that many of the ailments that we have in our lives are self-created results, not intentionally self-created, but are results of us not listening to our intuition, us not following our dharma, us being in so much fight or flight stress mode all the time that it's our body's physical way, it's our higher self's way of getting our attention in the physical world. And I think that we can have a destructive effect and impact on our bodies. And I also think that we can have a really healing impact. I think we have a lot of power that way. Now, here's the kicker. If you really want to get woo, I really think that we come to this earth already knowing what's going to happen. I think we chose our bodies. I think we chose our families. I think we chose our circumstances in advance of coming here, right? We came here for growth and learning opportunities that our soul needs knowing, right? I think destiny is the free will of the soul. We had choice before we came incarnated, right? We knew, we chose. And so things like childhood illnesses, big accidents, life events, I think those we manifested beforehand. I think those things can't be attributed to manifestation in the physical world. But if you think about, for a moment, the fact that your soul chose this life, chose this family, chose this body, chose this circumstance, socioeconomic, whatever, for the purpose of opportunity for growth and learning and developing a higher level of understanding, if you can wrap your head around that, then these things that seem so unfair, like, I didn't manifest this, I didn't want this. No, you didn't. This is not the work of the physical realm. This is not something you have control over. But it is something that perhaps, just perhaps, your soul chose for you, so that you could learn something from it, so that you could grow in a way that you need to develop, so that this experience will teach you something, that you have an opportunity to grow or to shine or to struggle or to whatever it is. I really think that the things that we feel like, how could I possibly have manifested this? How could I possibly have drawn this into my life? It was by design. It's happening for you. And it's so hard when you're in a shitty situation to accept that point of view. And listen, I'm not an expert. This is just my opinion. This is just my opinion. Please send your hate mail somewhere else, because this is just what I think. I'm just a chick on the internet, but that's what I think. I think we have control to be able to manifest things within our life that we can take action on. That a lot of the things that happen with manifestation are co-creations from the universe. Oh, this is hard to do on a phone. And I think that there are situations in our life that are predetermined, that were chosen by us for a higher purpose, for the greater good of our soul's learning and growth and evolvement. And I think that, thinking that gives me a lot of peace. It gives me a lot of surrender, and it also gives me power, because the power of knowing that the things that are within my control, I can have an impact on, and that I can make big change if I stay in the right vibrational frequency. That is huge. That's hugely powerful. And I also feel powerful knowing that The things that feel out of my control, the things that feel like they're too big, that I didn't call them in, that I don't want them, or even the things that are amazing that I didn't call in, that are like, oh my God, how did I get this, right? Sometimes we are born into situations, good or bad, right? Some people get really shitty situations that they're born into and things that happen to them. And some people get amazing things. And it's like, well, how did that happen? How did you choose that? You chose that at the soul level. You chose that before you got here. And it's for a reason, right? Anyways, that brings me a lot of peace. I do a lot of manifesting work on the daily to create the life that I want. Doing the work is super important to me. Focusing, keeping high vibes, doing the gratitude, doing the mind work, right? Doing all the work, doing all the things. But I also know that there is so much that's not in my control that I can surrender to. I can surrender and say, how is this for me? What is this teaching me? What is my soul trying to communicate to me in this instance? Whether it be an illness, an opportunity, a really hard season of life, something that feels confusing or unwanted or surprising in a really good way. Whatever is happening in your life, if you can shift your mindset to how is this for me? What can this teach me? Instead of, why is this happening to me? I don't want this, or this is great, I do want this, I have no idea how this happened. Be intentional about the things that are happening in your life so that you can use them as opportunities for growth and learning and see how your life transforms. It's so amazing. It's so amazing. So anyways, I have to go get dressed, but have a wonderful day. It's Monday, and I hope you can create an amazing week for yourself.